You call 911 and you assume help is minutes away. Here's the truth, nobody tells you. The average ambulance in America takes 8 to 12 minutes to reach you. On rural roads, it can stretch far past that. Now here's the brutal math. In a cardiac arrest, the odds of survival can fall as much as 10% for every minute that passes without help. 8 minutes of waiting can take someone from likely to live to likely to die. That gap between your call and the sirens is the most dangerous window in medicine. And whether you like it or not, if you're standing there, you are the first responder. This video walks you through exactly what to do inside that window, step by step. No medical degree, no fancy equipment, just simple actions, proven to double someone's chance of walking out of the hospital. Because when it happens in front of you, and one day it might, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall back on what you know. Let's make sure you know something. Every trained responder starts with the same word: danger. Not the victim, the scene. Because the fastest way to turn one casualty into two is to rush in blind. At a crash, that means oncoming traffic, leaking fuel, broken glass, an unstable vehicle. At home, it might be electricity, gas, or fire. Stop. Take 3 seconds. Look for what hurt them, because it can hurt you too. If you're on a road, get your hazards on and make yourself visible. If a scene isn't safe, you don't enter it. That feels wrong. It feels cold. But a dead rescuer saves no one. And now the ambulance has 2 jobs instead of 1. Only move an injured person if real danger forces you, like fire or traffic. Otherwise, they stay exactly where they are, because a crash can injure the spine, and careless movement can turn a bad day into a lifelong one. Scene safe? Now you go to work. Kneel beside them. Speak loudly. Can you hear me? Squeeze their shoulder firmly. This is the response check, and it splits everything that follows into 2 roads. If they respond, if they talk, moan, or move, they're conscious. Keep them still, keep them calm, and watch them closely, because conscious people can fade. If there's no response at all, treat it as the emergency it is. And here's a detail that saves lives. If an unresponsive person is breathing normally, roll them gently onto their side, head tilted slightly back. That's the recovery position. It keeps the airway open and stops them choking if they vomit. But before any of that, the moment you know they're unresponsive, the clock demands one thing first. Help has to be on the way. Calling 911 sounds obvious, until you watch a real crowd do it. Everyone assumes someone else already called. Psychologists call it the bystander effect, and it kills. So do this instead. Point at one specific person. You, in the blue shirt, call 911 now. Direct orders break the freeze. If you're alone, call yourself and put it on speaker so your hands stay free. When the operator answers, give location first. Address, cross street, landmark, anything. Location is the one thing they cannot help without. Then say what happened and how many people are hurt. Answer their questions and do not hang up until they tell you to. Modern dispatchers are trained to coach you through everything, including CPR, in real time. And if anyone nearby knows where a defibrillator is, send them running for it now. You'll want it in a minute. An unconscious body loses control of its own throat. The tongue relaxes, falls back, and quietly blocks the airway. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. 1 hand on the forehead, 2 fingers under the chin. Tilt the head back, lift the chin. That single movement straightens the airway and can save a life by itself. Now check breathing and give it a full 10 seconds. Look at the chest, listen, feel for air. Here's the part most people get wrong. Occasional gasping, snoring, or gurgling sounds are not breathing. That's called agonal breathing, and it means the body is shutting down. If they're breathing normally, recovery position, monitor, wait for help. If they're not breathing or only gasping, there is exactly 1 move left, and it's coming up in a moment. Heavy bleeding can end a life in minutes, faster than almost anything else. And the treatment has 1 core principle: direct pressure, applied hard and never released. Grab the cleanest cloth available. A shirt works. Press it straight onto the wound with your full weight and hold. If blood soaks through, do not lift it off. Add more material on top, and keep pressing. For a limb wound that won't stop, and only when pressure fails, a tourniquet above the wound can save a life. And 2 rules that surprise people. If something is impaled in the body, leave it in. Pulling it out opens the tap. Pad around it and hold it still. And never give an injured person food, water, or alcohol, no matter how much they ask. Pressure, hold, wait for the sirens. That's the whole job. No breathing means the heart isn't delivering oxygen, and every minute matters. Chest compressions are how you become the heartbeat. Heel of one hand on the center of the chest, other hand on top. Fingers locked. Arms straight, shoulders over your hands, and push hard and fast. At least 2 inches deep, 100 to 120 pushes a minute. The beat of the song Staying Alive is famously the right tempo. Let the chest fully rise between pushes. It's exhausting. So if anyone else is there, switch every 2 minutes. Aim kneel still until help arrives or the booster wakes. Don't stop until help arrives or the person wakes. And the moment a defibrillator arrives, turn it on and do what it says. An AED talks you through everything, and it will not shock someone who doesn't need it. Bystander CPR and a fast shock together are the single biggest survival multiplier we know of. This is the skill. This is the one to learn for real. Now, the don'ts, because instinct gets these wrong. Don't move a crash victim unless danger forces it. The spine is on the line. Don't take off a motorcyclist's helmet. Don't put anything in an unconscious person's mouth. Don't pull out impaled objects. Don't pile blankets and food on someone and call it help. Don't crowd them, and don't film them. And the biggest mistake of all? Doing nothing because you're scared of doing it wrong. Here's the truth every emergency physician will tell you. For someone whose heart has stopped, you cannot make it worse. The worst outcome is already happening. Hesitation is the only true error. Imperfect compressions beat perfect paralysis every single time. Let's lock in the order. Danger. Check the scene. Response. Shout and tap. Send. Point at someone. Call 911. Airway. Tilt and lift. Breathing. 10 seconds. And gasping doesn't count. Then act. Pressure on bleeding. Compressions if they're not breathing. Defibrillator the moment it arrives. That's the entire system, and you just learned it in 12 minutes. The medics will do their job brilliantly when they get there. But the first minutes, the ones that decide everything, those belong to whoever is standing closest. Usually, that's family, a coworker, you. Don't let the most important hour of someone's life find you unprepared. Go deeper, get the checklists, and learn the skills that matter at firsthour.com. Because help is 8 to 12 minutes away. You are right there.